Hello, today we're going to be talking about the digital citizenship and the 9 elements that we are going to be implementing throughout our classroom. So this would be how our teachers and students will be behaving digitally online. And so the first aspect that we'll be looking at is digital access. So this essentially is making sure that the teachers are able to be aware of their community's ability to have access to online resources. So it's important to keep up with the community and their needs. If students don't have access, then the teacher needs to accommodate and provide access for the students. This falls under the teacher ISTE standard 2B, which says that teachers must advocate for equitable access to educational technology and learning opportunities to meet diverse needs of their students. For the students, being an empowered learner, um, and being safe and ethical, who is able to have access to the material and is able to practice their learning to put their learning into actual practice. So this is the ISTE standard that this follows. So being able to truly put all of your work into it. So now let's go on to, sorry about that. The second would be digital commerce. So digital commerce focuses on the tools and safeguards in place that protect people who buy, sell, bank, and do transactions online. The ISTE standard that goes into place for this is being a citizen for teachers, for educators. So knowing how to teach being safe and good online citizens is imperative. Teaching students to contribute positively and contribute responsibly into the digital community. And for students, this is the standard that follows is number 2, being a digital citizen and following safety rules and acting respectfully online. Being safe, legal, and ethical. That's what all goes under here. It's just about your online economy. The third standard that we're looking at here is digital communication and collaboration. Essentially what this is that it focuses on users defining how they'll share their thoughts with others. Students that struggle to find their place in the world use technology to help themselves find their own voice. The ISTE standard for educators is number 4, collaborator, and number 6, a facilitator. Educators will dedicate time to help colleagues and students improve and find ways to express their voice. And by being a facilitator, they'll be able to facilitate those important conversations and have students have those conversations with themselves and with others on a global community online. The ISTE standard for students is number 3, knowledge constructor. This standard calls for students to use their voice and create and manipulate information to produce creative artifacts and make meaningful learning experiences. This would be seen here with email, blogging, all of this. You're on a global community, and being able to facilitate these conversations is important. And knowing how to act goes into the next one, digital rights and responsibilities. Essentially, this is about helping students understand that when they have access to the internet and online procedures, they need to help others and be responsible online citizens. So this ties back to the ISTE standard of citizen for educators and how to be responsible while being online. Teaching etiquette is so important for the future generations to understand. So this is a priority that us teachers need to have. The student ISTE standard here is being a digital citizen. Being able to recognize their personal responsibilities is of utmost importance for students. So knowing your rights online, being able to be an acceptable user, the rights of privacy, knowing exactly what's going on when you are online, and knowing your place. Next, we have digital health and welfare. This is a very important one that I feel like not a lot of people talk about. This refers to the physical and psychological well-being in the digital community. Schools should ask how much screen time is too much screen time and how they should limit their students' screen time. the ISTE standard for this for educators goes with being a learner, keeping up to date with science and the health effects of technology, especially on younger minds, can have that technology can have on the human brain. So keeping up to date with science, the ways that we're improving technology, and like for example, we have blue light and the way that it affects their brain. So knowing how to teach your students to limit their screen time for their own safety. For students, the ISTE standard would be either one or two. Listening to the teacher when it comes to safety and being an empowered learner who listens to the facts about safety with health and welfare. It is also possible that being a digital citizen calls for ways to be safe. Taking care of your health and well-being calls for being safe. This can be seen here through internet addiction, knowing when too much is too much, your amount of screen time, knowing not to be a distracted driver, when is the right time to put your cell phone away. That's just being a good digital citizen and a citizen in the world. Eye safety, as I said, blue light. The fear of missing out, I get that one. That's a big one. Digital fluency. This is the process of understanding technology and its use. It also includes the ability to discern good information from poor information. Knowing how to fact check your information is incredibly important and should be taught throughout all school. This should also be in K through 2nd, in my opinion. So the analyst ISTE standard for educators works well here, and as it calls for the educators to help students use data to show the best guide for students to use information and how to interpret whether or not it is accurate. For students, being a knowledgeable constructor is the ISTE standard for students that I would use here. Students need to evaluate knowledge and the accuracy, perspective, credibility, and relevance of the information, media, data, or resources. This falls under all of these. Is this a reliable source? Is this something that is credible and accurate? These are all things that you need to ask yourself when you're online. Next, we have digital security and privacy. Digital security and privacy are electronic precautions to avoid viruses, hackers, or identity theft, just to name a few. The students and educator ISTE standards for this are both respectively digital citizen and citizen, teaching students to know how to stay safe and know what to expect and look for when they are online. For students, managing personal data to maintain digital privacy and security, to be aware of data collection technology used to track their navigation online. They need to know when their passwords are being saved, where is that going to, what virus protection can they have, knowing the safety of being online. Doxing is a serious issue when it comes to social media, and they need to know the ramifications of their own actions in the space of being an online citizen, because it doesn't just mess up your reputation in person. Online, it also messes it up in person. And knowing how to be a good citizen is something that needs to be taught throughout all grade levels. The next we have digital etiquette, and here it refers to how users conduct themselves and interact with others online. For educators, being a citizen and a collaborator are both the ISTE standards that I would apply here. Being able to demonstrate good online etiquette and following ways to make positive social and responsible contributions is exactly how to exhibit empathetic behavior online that builds relationships with the community around you online. So this is a good way for students to watch and see how their own teachers act online and being a good digital citizen and collaborator. For students, the ISTE standard that applies here would be being a digital citizen and being positive, safe, and legal and ethical online, having respect for the rights and obligations of the others that are using these online resources. You can see this with harassment, trolling, flaming, all of this. Knowing what is acceptable, knowing how to be digitally aware. These are so important when it comes to digital etiquette, as cyberbullying is a major issue that we see online, especially with middle and high school. Next, we have digital law. Digital law refers to the electronic responsibility for actions. The online world is a created structure to protect users from cyberbullying and other online illegal activities. All of this illegal activities we can see as plagiarizing, fair use. This is to protect the identities of those online. This is to protect the information that is being put out there. This is to protect your safety, my safety. It's so easy. It's so easy for people to take advantage of the information that they have online. Like you can see that especially with the cases of Facebook and Instagram being called into court for data mining, and is that lawful? All of this stuff. So knowing where your rights are, knowing that there are laws that protect you, that should be keeping you safe, and the ISTE standards that would apply here would be the citizen and digital citizen ones for both the educator and student. Knowing what power you have online, knowing your rights as a citizen. These are all things that go into this digital law category. So yes, just to wrap it up, there are lots of ways to implement good practice online, being a good digital citizen online, knowing that there are resources for both educators and students to use, and learning how to be a good citizen, and knowing different ways that they need to watch out for different aspects of threats online. Um, yes, so these are the nine nine elements of the digital citizenship aspects online. Thank you very much.